World.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a special news bulletin from TWSTDWRLD.
What is up, Twisted World? We are back with my boys, as always, Cody and Andy. What's up, guys?
Up, yo.
So, slept in a little this morning. Ran late. My apologies, guys.
All good.
You know, you guys were waiting here patiently, staring at the walls, figuring out when I'd get here. Andy's probably like, guys, more than 5 minutes.
No, he was messing with his magic cards, and I ate a Chick-fil-A sandwich, so I'm chilling.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, what kind of Chick-fil-A sandwich?
Oh, chicken, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Chicken.
Oh, so good. Hey, listen, if you haven't
He
had
ate it in front of me too.
yeah, it was really. I
got him a coffee and he ate it in front of me.
my
It's
wife,
cool.
wife ordered it like 5 seconds before he got here, so I was like, oh crap, I didn't even.
No,
think
it's cool.
about it.
It's cool.
So we're like, every time you took a bite, was it like, this is good?
No, I was like too
Like,
infatuated with my new cards that I didn't even pay attention to it.
That was more so what
No.
Andy was doing when he looked at a magic
Yeah.
card. That's good.
That's so good.
And I'm just like, dude, can you be quiet? I'm trying to eat my food.
That's very rude, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
For real.
you see, I'm
Kind of
over
grossing
here.
me out.
Like, I'm trying to enjoy this chicken biscuit, and you're
Really harshing my vibe.
like,
I mean, but if you
foaming at the
read,
mouth over
if
there.
you read some of these cards,
Legit, huh?
yeah,
That's good.
even though it didn't pan out,
Yeah,
I got smacked.
it happens. It happens. So, hey fans, we appreciate all the feedback and everything going on. Hope you guys are enjoying the episodes up to this far. If you haven't gotten a chance yet, by the way, last week we did the Will Smith, Chris Rock slap and possible conspiracy that it was all set up. So, still curious to know what you guys think. Let us know. It seems to be still it's kind of dying out. I guess he did get banned.
Yeah, for like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
something
Wait,
like that.
they actually did a punishment?
Yeah, they
'Cause
did.
I knew he resigned, but I didn't know
No,
that they'd actually done the
no.
punishment.
He's
I don't-
banned for a decade from the Oscars.
he-
No, I think it said
okay.
all award shows.
Really?
Well, that's in the
I was
Academy. I
reading-
believe that's just that. It's just the Oscars in the
Oh.
Academy. Did they take his award away?
That I don't know.
That I did not see.
Then who cares?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
right?
Like he got
That's what
nominated
I'm
three.
saying,
He's
like-
been nominated 3 times in the last 25 years, and he just won. He's like, it's cool.
That's good.
I'm gonna resign, but at the same time, I don't need to be back for 10 more years. It's cool.
Right. No, exactly.
Are you
Like,
kidding
hey, I
me?
won Best Actor. Does he really need to come back? Like, what is there? Is there anything higher than Best Actor
You know they had a
as
conversation.
an actor?
You know they had a conversation with him. They're like, listen, we know you resigned.
Yeah.
We have to punish you with something.
Yeah.
So
We got to save face.
how about 10 years?
We don't want anybody digging
You still
deeper
look
into
young.
this.
Maybe you'll get it for Legend 2. I Am Legend 2. You never know.
Yeah,
You know, because
Yeah.
he'll have come back from the dead, and I Am Legend 2 if he ends up doing that movie.
I know. Well, yeah, but I mean, the cool thing is Jada does have G.I. Jane too, so that should be a hit.
Can't wait to see it.
That's gonna be fantastic. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good movie.
This is a different podcast. I have a whole topic I was going to go on about that, but we're not talking about
Yeah.
the slap anymore.
No, we're
Is
not
it really
talking
a
about
disease if you have Appalachian and you're, a multimillionaire, she's a black lady that has a shaved head. She's gorgeous, even
So, yeah.
with it.
it.
So
looks great. Yeah,
is it really considered a disability
I don't know. I don't think so.
or a
But, I
disability
mean-
or a disease?
I think it's more the insecurity.
Maybe,
That's it.
maybe.
Nothing more. Nothing
Mm.
more. Yeah, because you know what? You could shave every ounce of hair on my body if I can be a millionaire. I'm just saying, you can't. I would be fine with
But if I made a joke about you, would Amy slap?
that. She may. I doubt it. You? Maybe not. But if some other random person did, she'd probably laugh at first, ha ha ha, and then do like a Will walk. But it wouldn't be Amy. Remember, it would be Amy. So, anyways, we are going to talk about the internet's biggest scavenger hunt. There's a lot of crazy stuff behind this. I actually, for all you out there listening, the guys knew a little bit more about this. But as I dove deeply into this research, it's really cool. It's kind of cryptic. It's a little dark. And there's just some crazy off the wall ideals of what this is. But all in all, it was a very intricate scavenger hunt. Am I correct in saying that?
Ingenious.
Ingenious. Yeah.
I think it's interpreted however you want to interpret it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's intended. I don't know that it's intended to be a scavenger hunt. I think it's intended to be a tool to recruit. But that's one of the theories.
But
right?
it was a scavenger hunt for the clues of all the puzzles, and then we'll get into a little bit deeper. But it is called Cicada 3301. First and foremost, a cicada is a very large bug that apparently sits in its cocoon phase for like many years, and then it comes out like a lot of bugs that go into cocoons, like caterpillars, things of that nature. But this one apparently, once it goes in, it sits there for years and then it comes out. But a very large bug. If you look it up, it's Cicada, and so that I still don't quite grasp after everything I'm reading.
Like, why that bug?
Why this bug
Yeah.
specifically? You know what I mean?
Well, it's lying in wait. He identifies himself as cicada, correct? Or he or she. We don't know what
They.
they identify themselves as cicada because they sign. I believe they sign everything as cicada, right? Or is it just the image?
It's
That's
the image.
cicada?
It's the image on everything.
Yeah. So
that
the first
this,
one
like,
I don't think
bug-
has a name, but the second one they identify themselves as cicada, or that's what they sign whatever they're doing as cicada.
I want to be
Cicada's just
grasshopper.
like a massive moth. That's
Yeah.
what it looks like to me when you look at them. They're like, it's not really a butterfly. It's more of a moth, but it's
Right.
just hideous.
It was crazy when I looked the bug up. There was like all these myths. Like this one was like cicada hunt in packs and they will take a human down. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's a
Let me-
vampire,
no, I know.
or I mean a bat.
I'm starting reading all this stuff, and all these science guys are like, they do not have teeth. So
Right.
That'd be rather hard for them to do
they're gonna gum you to death
if they were to accomplish such a feat of coordination.
Right. But so these bugs, they've existed, I guess, according to some scientists that for a million plus years. So who knows why? But yeah, as Andy says, they kind of lie in wait. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. So 3301, the Cicada 3301. We'll talk about the 3301 here in a minute. But basically, January 4th of 2012, a post on 4chan by an anonymous user with the author tag of 3301, which is where the 3301 comes from, posted a picture box. Well, excuse me, a text box. It was a picture, but it was a text box. And I'm just going to read what this text box says. It says, "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it will lead you onto the road of finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck." Signed 3301. Right? Very cryptic, whatever the case may be. I would have never, when I started reading this, it said within minutes of this thing post, somebody figured out. They were like, hey, if you open this with a text editor, a string of readable text could be seen.
Yeah,
Like,
at the bottom.
oh, well, that's fantastic. I'm glad that
That's
like
cool.
all these individuals out there are just like, this random text box. Let's open it
Well,
this way.
Okay, this is what 2012. I mean,
Yeah.
4chan was already kind of in. We've talked about a couple of other ones that
How
were
long has
also
4chan been out?
4chan was
Long
out
time.
a long time. It was
Oh, okay.
it was out back when I first got into. Right,
But Reddit's
I think
older, right?
Reddit's not older.
no,
4chan's way
4chan
older.
is older.
Oh.
Reddit is based on the 4chan model, just a little bit sexier. It's cleaned up a
they
bit,
ripped it.
a little bit more
They
organized.
ripped the idea.
But yeah, 4chan.
I think
was kind
4chan's
of,
been around since 2005.
Okay.
yeah.
Then,
So that was like the hot spot, and then Reddit came along later.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the other conspiracies that we've talked about with the internet, what X11 or whatever it's called,
11XB.
the Plague Doctor, all of those started on 4chan, or at least there
Yeah.
was a piece of their on 4chan.
any
Yeah,
big
that Plague
internet
Doctor
like
weirdo.
historical event always has its roots on 4chan.
Right.
And then it makes its way to Reddit generally. But for the most part, every big event on the internet always stems. You can always trace it back to 4chan. Some anonymous post on 4chan, and it's usually on B, which is the random board.
Which is what this one was on, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Right.
And it's cryptic, so people are looking at it through the lenses of a puzzle, right? And that's how you have someone in 20 seconds identify
So
that
the
they're
people that
text.
surf this 4chan, especially this random, they're like, right off top, the second they see something, we're going to start digging into it.
Well, I mean, there's really only a couple ways you can really look at this image to find something hidden. I mean, you can change the brightness to try and figure out if there's something like in the back, because people do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But then, you're like, okay, well, how else am I going to find out what's in here? Because opening the text editor would be the next thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty.
Well,
it's pretty intuitive.
And if I understand correctly,
Intuitive.
didn't they pull it up as a text editor, and that's what they kind of ran with until they realized they had to go back to the original image and look at it a different way to find something else?
I think it's, yeah. So, well, this is what I saw. So originally they opened up the text editor, and then that's where the first clue, I guess, came in. And it's funny. So at the bottom of the text editor, there was a link. 1, 2, it said Tiberius Claudius Caesar, which, if you don't know who TCC is, he was the 4th Roman emperor. So out of all people to choose, they choose that one.
So before we talk about this, so that string, it's not obvious immediately that it's a link, right? So it says it's a string, right? It says Tiberius Clavius Caesar.
Yeah.
It says Tiberius Clavius Caesar says,
Yeah.
and then in quotes it has another string of seemingly random code. But I mean, to people who are familiar with what links look like, I guess you would be able to go, hey, that kind of resembles a link, but the words are jumbled. Like, what's going on here? So what you can do is, what it actually is, the Cicada is trying to get us to think about what kind of like cipher this is, and it gave us a hint. It's a Caesar cipher because Caesar's in the name. So this is a cipher called the Caesar cipher, and what it does is it's you encode it by taking a message and then you shift the alphabet however many numbers left or right down the alphabet, and it changes all of the letters so that now they look jumbled. Now you can't read it unless you have the key. The key would be the number of shifts left or right, right? And so this Tiberius Clavius Caesar is the fourth Roman emperor, like you said. So the key is number 4. So when you go and plug this Caesar cipher in, the key is number 4. So you shift the net letters 4, and when you shift them all at 4, then you get http imgur.com / whatever the link is, right? And so now you have this link that takes you to the next clue. So that's what happened.
Dude, there's some crazy smart people out there. Let me tell you. Who sits around thinking about this?
Yeah, no. But what's interesting is that the Caesar cipher.
And he's like, I do.
I do. I would got that. The Caesar cipher doesn't actually come from this Caesar. It comes from Julius Caesar, because Julius Caesar is the one who used it. We don't know if this Caesar actually, used it.
Well, no, I think the only relevance to this Caesar is because he was the fourth.
The fourth. Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's a play on it in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
But
Because they literally, there are so many, all the emperors named were Caesars. Like there's so many Caesars, emperors.
Yeah. No,
or Tiberius. There's so many emperors.
Yeah. Caesar basically meant Lord. So
yeah.
And so I guess, and then the link, so they uncovered the link, basically doing what you're talking about, using the Caesar cipher.
Right.
And then another, like, it was like a picture?
Yeah, it's a picture of a duck. And
like a live duck?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, maybe it could be a fake duck, but it's basically a picture of a duck that says, whoops, just decoys this way. Looks like you can't guess how to get the message out.
Oh, these guys playing games.
Yeah.
They got jokes.
It looked, on the surface level, it looks like it was like oh, just kidding.
Have a nice day.
This was a red herring, right? This is just something that to throw you off.
Yeah.
That was not part of the thing. But it's actually another clue. And for people who are familiar with, but the thing is, it's only familiar to people who know about this program, because there's 2 key words in that sentence. And because it sounds weird, looks like you can't guess how to get the message out, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if you knew about outguess, which is the name of the program that's used, then you would see that there's guess and out in this sentence, and you would somehow swap them, and you'd get outguess, which is the name of a decoder program you can use to extract hidden information out of images.
Very obscure program.
Insanely obscure.
Only used for this particular instance, right? So I believe the guy had only released like 2 updates, and it did not have a big following.
No, it didn't. It's very few people knew about this at all. So a lot of people assumed that this was the end of the road. They're like, oh, we don't know what it is. Someone's memeing on 4chan. This is just a meme.
Right.
So
because of the obscurity of this particular program, that's how they're going to weed people out, right? Because you figure only your techiest of tech guys are
deep in the weeds
are going to just know that this particular program exists.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I've never heard of it.
So
had you guys heard of it before?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
So this is deep. This is like, okay.
This is some weird one-off. There's millions of programs out there. I mean, like,
right. But these guys pick this specific one. And then, so what does this program do? So we're looking at this picture of this duck.
Yeah. And basically you use outguess on the original image, not the duck picture. The duck picture doesn't.
That's what I was saying. So
basically, they had to go all the way back to the
original
text box.
Yeah,
is that what we're talking about?
Think about it. Remember, they used the text because they figured people would do that immediately, right? So it gets to the duck and it says, "Oops, you found this is going to lead to nowhere."
Yeah.
But inside that, it gives you a hint on how to go back to the original and find it, and then that's when they go back. And I believe it's stenography.
Oh, I don't know what it actually does. I know it just...
No, I mean, I think that's what they do. It's a stenography where I thought they looked at the...
So what...
Yeah, it's
what
a stenography. It's a stegonom...
Stegosaurus? We already talked about dinosaurs.
Yeah, we already.
It's the stenography. It's where it finds an embedded hidden data inside of the JPEG. That's what the application does. It
Oh.
pulls it in and it looks for hidden data inside the JPEG.
Huh.
Not text. I mean, it is technically text, but it's looking at it through a different type of.
So what was behind the text box image?
Behind the text box image led to another link that led to a subreddit.
Oh,
It also gave a book
now
code.
we're in Reddit.
Yeah, so the subreddit led to a it's the subreddit's obviously encrypted as well. It has a bunch of weird symbols on the front that can be decrypted to give you a key to find the book. Like Andy mentioned, there's a book that it references, and then you decode the rest of the subreddit to get the pages, and then you find the page, and then once you're on the page, then you have to look and find. There are
Well, the actual message. So the message that the pitcher decoded says, "Here is the book code. To find the book and more information, go to this Reddit sublink." And
Okay.
it gives a link. Then below it, it said 1:20, 1:3, or 2:3, 3:5, 4:20, 5:5. That's just a book code. But they don't know the book unless they go to subreddit. So the subreddit literally is like, I think it was quested as the quest for the Holy Grail. Like that's like
That's the name of the subreddit.
that was it wasn't the name of the subreddit, but that was the posting.
Like these guys.
And it had like he's
These
saying
guys.
it has like these hieroglyphic
yeah.
like
Those.
symbols, right?
Oh.
And they use that to discern kind of how to get to all this just to get to the book.
Yeah,
You
to
guys
the
ever,
page of the book.
you guys ever play that game Myst?
Yeah,
You guys-
years ago.
remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, that game was dumb. And it totally this is like these guys playing games. These guys are over here like, hey, we're gonna make you guys hunt for a minute. So I guess somewhere along the way, after all this decoding takes place, there's a phone number, right?
Yeah, so after you get to the page of the book, then you are on the page, and then there's I think there's it's a algorithm it gives you. So every other like line on a certain word, you circle it and it's like a number, and so you get 10 of those digits. And so once you have the collection of digits, you have some of them in the right order, then you have a 10-digit phone number you can call. Once you call that phone number, it's a pre-recorded message.
Can we real quick? Because I have the phone number here, and it's
That's like way deep. There's a lot of stuff that happens kind of leading up to that. There's so much stuff that I am shocked that anyone was able to actually solve all this.
that's crazy. I'm just curious. Hey, what area code is 214?
I can look it
Does
up.
anybody know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because that was the phone number that I guess that popped up. Because I guess after what Cody's saying is they they do all
Dallas?
this stuff and
I actually did see this that it tied back to Texas at some point, but I don't know that it went anywhere. But yeah, Dallas County is 214.
well, which is Dallas, I think is like almost dead center of the U.S. I mean, it's down south a little bit, but as far as its location, so I have if you called the phone number, now the phone number I'm assuming is no longer works. Has anybody tried it?
I'm assuming it's because this is from
I
Almost
actually
10 years
have the
ago.
phone message
Hmm.
here though. This website, somebody recorded the message and kept it. So there's actually a message you can listen to. I have
Oh,
not
you
listened
can hear
to
it.
You can hear what the message was.
So I got the words of what it says.
I do too.
It said, I guess, very good. You have done well. There are 3 prime numbers associated with the original final.jpg image, which I'm assuming was the text image, right?
yeah, it's called Final. That's the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Final.jpg.
And then it says 3301 is one of them. You'll have to find the other 2, multiply all 3 numbers together, and add a .com in the end to find the next step. Good luck. Goodbye. And that's apparently what happened if you called the phone.
So if we're just looking at it, what numbers would you find? So if 3301 is one of the 3, you have to find the 2 other prime numbers that are associated with the image. Well, there's no other numbers on the image just by reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what the answer is because I've got it in front of me, but if you're looking at an image as an IT guy, if you're looking at an image, what's the next thing you're going to go to try to identify numbers?
I mean, I already know it too.
Yeah,
That's why
right.
I can't comment on it. I know it.
Well, I can tell you this, right? We've already looked at the text. There's no numbers in the text. They've already run it
Is
through
it like-
another application.
Is it like the resolution of the image?
It's not resolution. It's the pixels, right? So 509 by 503 is the resolution or the framework of
These guys.
So they take
What?
those 2 as the prime number. You add you times it also by 3301, and it gives you a really long number of 845.145.127.
And then they add a .com on the end.
Add a .com,
So it becomes a URL.
Correct.
Or web address.
but it showed an image of Cicada and a countdown.
And a countdown. So when we say the image of the cicada, we're talking about the big bug.
Big
Yep.
bug. Yep.
Right. Okay. So the big bug and a countdown. What happened at the end of the countdown?
Well, I don't know. So right now it says you have done well so far. Patience is a virtue. Check back at 1700 on Monday, 9 January 2012, 3301. So that was what happens when you put that image of Cicada. That was the countdown. If you put that image of Cicada throughout guess,
Yeah.
that was the message that came out. It gave you a countdown of that day. Time went by and the solvers waited and created.
Is this
So what happened
Yeah.
was at the end of the countdown, it would show a map with a bunch of points of interest. Show a world map. There's a bunch of
Oh.
little points. Of
So this
interest.
is the 14 locations.
Actually, there
which
was
I
no
think I have
map,
here.
but there was a bunch of coordinates. No map. It says here,
Oh,
suddenly the
same.
message hidden. It says now containing coordinates spread across the globe. And it was just Latin launch.
So here's the I got the 14 locations. Okay, so now it makes sense. All right, so this is adding up. So this is where the coordinates came in. Where it's from this countdown, and then these coordinates pop up. I have the 14 locations, and it's crazy. So like one of them's Annapolis, Maryland, which by the way is where the U.S. Naval Academy is. I'm just saying, not
No.
sure. Just throwing that out there. Chino, California, Columbus, Georgia, Dallas, Texas. But then you go into like Australia, Spain,
South Korea, Poland, Hawaii.
Russia, Japan, France. I mean, so basically, we're talking all over the map, right? Now, what was at these locations, though? I mean, that's the.
Do you know?
I
know.
I may have it somewhere. What was it?
A white poster with a QR code. So, mind you,
So they expect-
QR codes are relatively new at this point,
They
too.
expect people to fly around the world. I mean, we're probably talking 15 G's in airfare.
I don't think they're expecting one person to do it. I think the point is, I think
people are probably close to one of them. It's probably not like
Correct.
going to cost them
and
a
I
bunch of money.
and for me, I mean, you
Well-
could argue that it's one person that did this, but my guess is it was a group or a collective.
Oh, they didn't have to
because-
go to all of these. They just had to go to one.
No, I think that the expectation was that they would have to collab and work together to be able to get all this information unlocked.
the person doing
Ah.
the treasure hunt,
Whoever is
it's
putting
a treasure hunt, not a scavenger
putting
hunt,
it on.
because a scavenger hunt is getting some items off of a master list,
Yeah.
and a treasure hunt is looking for one thing at the end of the rainbow. So this is
Ah.
a treasure hunt, but yeah, the person doing this would only have to go to one of these because they're all the same QR code.
Are they all the same?
Yeah, they lead back to one website, and that website basically we don't really know exactly what was on the website initially, but we do know what happened after a certain amount of time because the theory is that initially it was going to be the next step of clues, but after a certain number of visitors, the website changed, and now it said something like, "We want the best, not the followers."
Oh.
And then they
So
just
if you didn't
peaced
make,
out.
so if you didn't make it in time,
You didn't get to the next clue.
you're like, ooh, we made it. We roll up, and it's
Yeah,
we want the best,
not the followers.
You suck.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
were two different variants on the posters. So you could get to one and only get half the message. So it required more than one person or another person that could be able to travel to multiple locations and check. But of the QR codes of the 14 locations, there were two variants, and both had different messages, which I can read them, but they're basically just like poems, right? They're two different poems. Very small, very short.
Oh, so these guys are super smart and poets.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's right. Then the website changes again, and it just it basically just lists numbers.
How narcissistic. We want the best, not the followers. Like you just straight crushed all these dudes' dreams and
Well, at some point you
people's
got to do
dreams.
that, you know.
So
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
hey,
the message actually
don't set them down softly.
the website
Knock 'em
changed
down.
and it gave a bunch of random numbers. But if you had searched that website with that number and then added JPEG at the end, it actually gave you a digital copy of those posters, so you didn't have to travel to those locations.
Huh.
That's the initial part, and then it goes into the congratulations part where it basically kicks you in the teeth and says they don't want the followers.
So apparently, there's people that have made it. My understanding is all the way through the end of puzzle one, right? Where are these people at, and why isn't anybody? I mean, I'm just curious. Like everything I read said that there were finalists.
Well,
Right.
there's confirmation. They did say those. They do. If I understand correctly, they do confirm that someone made the end, and that more would be to come. But no one had ever revealed themselves as the one. If I understand, no one had ever come out and said, "I'm the one that solved," or few that solved it.
So-
It's not specifying that it's just
So
one.
whatever these cicada cats are, clearly are pumping some fear because nobody's.
Is it
it's
fear,
all-
or is it the end of the rainbow? The treasure's so rewarding, and that you get to be a part of this. Because if you're someone that has gone
Listen,
through
bro,
this,
we live in the U.S. Loose lips sink ships, and loose lips be running wild.
but think about it, the kind of mind that it would take to get all the way to
Have
the
you
end
seen
of this.
social media?
I understand. I understand. The type of mind or the kind of mind that would take to get to the end of this puzzle is probably not someone that
it's probably someone that's a little more secluded, like very introverted, keeps to themselves,
rewarded, and they're probably, in my guess, the best guess is that they're probably involved in the next 2 puzzles, right?
Oh,
they get to be a part of that collaborative and be a part of it. And honestly, this type of environment, the mystery of it all is the best part.
No, it's true. I get it. I'm jealous. I can't figure this stuff out. I just sit around and talk about people that can. So there was a year span between, I guess they went silent for a year, right? So 2012 rolling into a year and 1 day, and the second puzzle popped up. Now, before we get into that, I guess through that course of that year, there was a lot of fakers, a lot of people trying to post stuff like they were Cicada. And so I read this, and I guess there's something called a PGP signature, and Cicada purposely put this signature and made sure it was visible on all of their clues so that you could validate the authenticity of the clue.
Right.
Is my understanding?
Yeah.
Right. And so, if I'm correct, it's just a bunch of code that,
it's just a hash. That's all it is, and it's a way to identify it's like signing your name, but it's code, so it's digital. Imagine it being as unique as writing your name with your hand with a pen on a paper.
Gotcha. And so this told people that all these other people were just BS.
Yeah, it allowed people to confirm what was really from Cicada or not. I mean, every event like this always has copycats or people that want to be involved, or we've talked about a few of them. Right?
We should start one. We should do our own.
This is a lot of effort, bro.
Listen, I believe in you guys. I'll go around and talk about it.
Go around and talk about it? Yeah. Yeah. This isn't going to work out then.
Exactly. So puzzle 2, year and day after the first. This one, yet again, another text box image. This one says, "Hello again. Our search for intelligent individuals now continues. The first clue is hidden within the image." And then it just goes on to say the same thing. "Find it and we'll lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it their way through. Good luck. Signed, 3301. So back at it. My understand, and this one had the PGP. So they confirmed authenticity. And this puzzle was very similar, right, to the first. I think there was some.
They ran it through Outguess. Immediately ran it through Outguess, and it bumped out another book code. It says, "Here's a book code. Please sign the book. Break this riddle." More book. You want to read the riddle?
Oh.
It says, "A book whose study is forbidden, once dedicated to a beast. To read once and then destroyed, or you shall have no peace." And then it gave a bunch of code as far as page and that kind of thing.
Winnie the Pooh.
I read that and I'm like, nah, I don't know.
What is the book? You know what book it goes to? I'm just curious. That was very...
yeah, so the book that was used to hide the measures is Libra al Vel Legis by Aleister Crowley, also known as the Book of Law.
Oh, man, I read that one last week. Sounds legit. I don't know. You get to chapter 2 and you're just like, man, I can't put this bad boy down.
I'd have read the title and been like, I'm good. Y'all got an English version?
These guys be going deep, man. Let me tell you. I guess this, somewhere along in the puzzle line of the second puzzle, or the clue line of the second puzzle, there was an uncovering of some sort of sound called the N-Star Emergence. I listened to it, and it just sounded like somebody playing a guitar.
Yeah, so they took the book code. The book code translates, and it takes a lot because there's a lot of code, and it translates into a Dropbox link.
Yeah.
And then the Dropbox link, I believe, goes into...
and it's like some peaceful,
nice song.
Yeah, you just kick back, and you're like, man, this is nice. I'm enjoying this. So, I mean, what the...
Is this another one where there's a hidden message in the sound?
No. It's just...
They just wanted people to kick back, enjoy the fruits of their labor and enjoy a nice, ambiance of music. I couldn't figure out. I didn't find anything. What was the point of it? Did anybody see that?
Yeah, it's actually, let me see here. Because what happened was that Dropbox link went to an image. That image was just a picture of a bunch of numbers. The image translated into another link that went to the sound. The sound basically says the key is all around you. Good luck. Let's see here. You can actually watch it. I guess it's on YouTube if you guys want to go back and listen.
Oh, the
to
sound?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
listened
I
to
did.
it.
I
I
found it,
didn't.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I was just chilling and I was like, what is this? And I was waiting for something to like, because like you guys made me watch that Plague Doctor stuff and you're sitting there watching the Plague Doctor stuff and all this weird stuff starts popping out real quick and you're just like, what is really going on
So
here?
you're sitting there waiting for it to
I'm
pop out.
I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the N-Star emergence. And I'm sitting here listening to it and nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, this sounds like some cool jazz though. Hey, yeah.
So it
Other
says,
than that, I have no
says
idea.
the key points in the track are the initial breath sound,
You see what I'm saying? Like, where the heck? I listened to that thing
believed
twice.
to be the sound of mini cicadas, and the tempo changes. Beginning approximately. So it talks about the beats per minute. They do a draft. So basically, they want you to do a spectral analysis. It is similar. There is something in the sound. Once you do a spectral analysis of the hum at a certain frequency, the hex dump from that MP file dumps text. The hex dump does, and it says it gives you N-star emergence parable, and it gives a number. It says like the N-star tunneling into the surface, we must shed our own circumstances, find the divinity within, and emerge. So I was right. I didn't realize that, but the sound on the video was translated via the spectral analysis and gave it a message, and that message points you somewhere else.
And here I was thinking, Cicada was just trying to put something out there, kick back in your recliner, cool glass of iced tea on a nice warm spring day, listening to some cool jazz. Of course, these dudes always got something deeper. Is this where the clue for the Twitter account came from?
Yeah.
Was it buried in that sound?
Yeah. So the sound translates into a parable. The parable translates into a Twitter post.
Right.
And so that is kind of how, or into a Twitter account, not necessarily a post.
And so on this Twitter account, this was the first presence of the runic alphabet. So it's like some old Norse rune stuff. So that's what I when I looked at it, that was the best comparison I could see. So we're talking like ancient Norse runes.
So for the 3 people that are still listening because they're confused out of their mind,
Yeah.
This is why I'm assuming only a few individuals made it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
It's so far down the rabbit hole. So many different things have happened that you have to understand in a different way. Look at it now. It's runic. We're gonna get runic alphabet, right?
But that's apparently what has stumped people.
This is
like they're
why
getting caught up on the.
I know we're gonna go deeper
far did
into
you make it,
conspiracy.
Don't act like you didn't do this. I know you did, bro.
No, he started watching the video and they were explaining it, and he dropped out.
Yeah.
Just the explanation of it all. To me, this is one of those things why there would only be it's targeting specific type of people, which is where I think the theory behind it is as a recruitment tool. That's what makes me think military, right? Is that it's some form of recruitment tool to get the best and the brightest and the puzzlers and the type of, the people that are trying to decipher and figure out things are people you want on your side to be able to discern and figure out maybe things in combat or military.
I wonder if this one had another bash message at the end. We don't want you. You suck. Move on. No? Anybody know? I don't know. Apparently this one didn't have a closure message though. The other one had a closure message like, hey, we got what we wanted. We're done. That was number 1.
Yeah, they might not have found any people or anything like that.
I don't know. I don't know that it just stopped, right? Isn't that what they said?
It just stopped, yeah. And then so again, here we are, January. That was 2013. We move on. A year goes by. Bunch of fakers do their thing again, and yet another message pops up. This one really just only said, "Hello, Epiphany is upon you. Your pilgrimage has begun. Enlightenment awaits. Good luck." So that was number 3. Number 3 had again some different variations, and then this is where this other book came into effect. This is where this puzzle 3 focused predominantly on a book called, I'm going to butcher, Liber Primus, which I guess in Latin stands for first book, and written by Cicada, all in that runic alphabet stuff. This one has not been cracked. So I read some articles that one article was just written last month that it's pretty, like there's still quite a few people trying to crack this book, because so some people try to get through, I guess they got through a portion And another message was released by Cicada that said, go back to the book, right? Recheck the book out. It said, oh no, excuse me. That was 2 years later. 2016, Cicada.
Well, because I don't think anybody had actually figured it out.
The third puzzle still has not been cracked.
Yeah.
And so 2 years later in 2016, so no puzzle in 2015. So 2014 was puzzle 3. 2016 rolls around. Cicada then releases another thing that says, encourage people to re-examine the book, Liber Primus. And to this day, still quite a few people trying to figure out. So they're adamant that somebody cracked this book, right? Yeah. And so, both puzzles, again, both the second and third, again, had new locations, new countries, the same pictures, same QR code stuff. Now, I did see that a handful of people supposedly come out saying that they cracked it, and that and so one guy, let's talk about this. You guys heard about this guy, Knox Populi?
Yeah.
You heard about him?
The name came up. Yeah, when I was looking.
So this guy apparently was a code cracker. He apparently figured it all out.
That's offensive.
Yeah. Why is that? The code cracker? I was like, wait a second. Listen, I haven't had enough coffee today. So this guy supposedly was a winner. Like he mastered the first puzzle. He was the first puzzle winner. He goes out and finds some other people that were like second puzzle winners. I think one other first puzzle.
So people did come forward and say they made the puzzle.
So
we just have no verification if that's true or not.
You can't prove it. But he comes out, he does these videos. Like he's got a bunch of videos. He could just be getting likes and loves. I get it. Do your thing, artistic creativity. But he's claiming he broke it. Found some other cats that broke it. And apparently they all got this email. And we'll go into the email a little bit because there's some things that they talk about in this email. But the one crazy thing is they all got notifications like, hey, we want you to join Cicada and then be patient. And that's it. And none of them have heard anything since.
And that was 2014.
Yeah. So the Knox Populi videos are still popping up. So he's apparently finding more and more.
Well, there's post 2014 stuff, but nothing from Cicada. The last thing we got from Cicada was in 2014.
So I want to talk about something that I did not know about. Do you guys know what cyberpunk, the movement, cyberpunk movement of the 80s? Yeah. So apparently,
Blade Runner. Yeah.
Right, but there's this movement, and they were like this cryptic, like they did these kind of things, and they were kind of anarchist type, and so Knox is like, oh, Cicada is totally a revamp of that, and so that's what he believes. Let's talk about a little bit of what was in the emails, because this is kind of crazy. One, Cicada says that they are an international group, which, they got posters all over the world.
Yeah, they proved that already.
Yeah.
It says it had some taglines. Tyranny and oppression of any kind must end. The censorship is wrong, and that privacy is a inalienable right. It also stated that the puzzles are to recruit similar individuals to develop privacy-conscious solutions. And then it had some questions on it at the end of the email. The first question, do you believe information should be free? What do you guys think? Information should be free?
Sounds anonymous.
Well, you know what the funniest part is? The beginning of that email. So at the end, they ask this question: do you like? They're all about like freeing information, right? You know what the first line on that email was? Do not share this information.
Kind of contradictory.
I'm like,
a little bit.
So I'm like reading this thing, and I'm like, that doesn't really add up. You're a little bit of a hypocrite.
Like,
huh?
well, do you? Obviously not.
Way do you go? Way to go, Cicada. So Knox has all these guys or men and women that have come forward that supposedly have figured it out. Again, so currently puzzle 3 is still being worked on. There was even, Andy, I think you said there was a movie that was released in 2021.
2021.
Right?
So like I didn't know much about this at all until Cody had brought it up to us, sometime last year, and we were researching it out. But yeah, at the same time we were kind of researching out, they had just released a movie. Now, the movie plot is so much different than what we actually
Did
believe
you-
it to be.
did you
I
watch
have
it?
not watched it, but I
you
read.
watched it
I kind of
like
read like the spark notes on it. And watched the trailer. I mean, it looks like a good movie, but the premise is kind of starting off with this, and then it goes off on its own tangent. And I believe in that one. I could be wrong, but I believe in that one. They focus on it's a recruitment tool for military. I will point out. So what's funny, and I don't have the exact date, but in 2014, the U.S. Navy released a cryptograph challenge, and based on Cicada. So my question there is that are they doing that to kind of like muddy the water to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're not involved in that, but we're going to do something similar. Here we go, something similar to that, or was it actually military that did it? Because I don't know that it's military. It could be, but it seems like a recruitment tool we would use
Oh yeah.
to identify the smartest of us, right? Or maybe not
Yeah.
the smartest of us, but at least the ability to look past what's the obvious.
Right. And it's a time thing because again, like Cody had put earlier, handful of people got into that final website and got the next piece of the puzzle, and a ton of people got you were garbage, you didn't make it, bye-bye, and deuces out, right? So not only is it like some intellectual, like you got to break all this stuff, you got to be one of the first to do it. Like you
Right.
got to make it.
Right.
So I don't know.
It just gotten to a point, I guess, like every other mystery we've talked about, it gets to the point at the end where it starts to hit popular culture, right?
Yeah.
It starts to get kind of word of mouth. Now, I wasn't even looking at this stuff back then, but I was like looking through the notes and stuff. Like, did you ever see the show Person of Interest? It's where the one where
No.
the guy creates the I can't remember. I think he creates the supercomputer, and then it basically this computer AI goes out and targets persons of interest that are going to commit crimes, that kind of thing. It's not quite Minority Report, but kind of similar.
I love that movie.
It's got Ben from Lost. He's like the main character, and then I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the guy that played Jesus in Passion of the Christ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So really good show. I enjoyed the show. Me and Julia watched the show all the way through, but I guess in one of the episodes in 2014, he mentions looking up Cicada 3301 on the internet.
Huh.
Right, so it's mentioned in a popular TV show. Another one that was more relevant to us is in the Assassin's Creed Origins game. Cicada is mentioned.
Wow.
Yeah,
So these guys got the limelight.
they listed off as one of the mysterious things that happened in history. So
The funny thing is there's there's a handful of people out there that think that it was just a couple of really smart friends that have disposable income and too much time on their hands that have done it. And they went in and like I read this article and they make some valid points. Like they're like, in today's day and age, you could easily Venmo somebody $100 and have them put up a poster for you, right? Because they were trying to explain how somebody, instead of having to travel to all these places, because again, and then a year later do it again,
but
and
you would think there'd be traces of that. Whereas popularity started to come up that somebody would be. I mean, I'm sure, right?
Or someone
Somebody
come
would-
forward and say, "Hey, I put those posters."
I'm the one
up.
that did that.
Yeah,
sure. You would
Unless
assume
they're
somebody
paid off, I
so
guess.
unless they're a part of the initial thing, right? So initially, it comes back to military
Yeah,
because of all the places that they go, right? That's the easy
Oh, yeah,
example.
we have bases all over the world.
It looks like a recruitment tool. A lot of the places that these posters were posted, there's military bases or things nearby, right?
Yeah.
And then we see a repeated posters being put in similar areas or things being pointed to similar areas that they were pointed to before. Like Dallas gets mentioned actually like 3 times, I think, throughout this whole process.
There's a few of the hotspots were in Texas, but then again, a few were also in California. But yeah, I mean, South Korea, Poland, Australia, Mexico, Russia. So I mean, these dudes were all over the place doing something. So again, that this argument that it's just a bunch of smart guys. I don't know. Government agency could be. I did see that. I guess that quite a few different agencies and have done stuff like this, and some big information companies have done similar things. I mean, we know that because we've looked at these things before. But as it sits, puzzle number 3 is still not been broken, and the handful of people that are saying that they cracked it, they all just come out and go, "Oh, they told us to be patient." Like there's nothing that they have. So
yeah, so
it's either that's the end of the rainbow, and these guys are telling the truth, or these guys are just trying to gain some limelight in there, and they can't give the end of the rainbow because they never actually made it to the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, because we had a puzzle in 2012, 2013, and 2014. It's been a long time now. So it's either gone.
Well, and in
non-existent.
2016 they popped in, reminding people, encouraging people to go back to the book. So they did that in 2016. So talking 6 years since then. And I couldn't see. I don't think that they popped up anywhere. But again, tons of people still trying to crack it. It's still there's like Reddits that are less than a year old. Of people asking and people responding.
If it ain't got the signature on it, we know there's nothing.
Oh no, these are just people talking about it to each other. They're not saying that.
The longer it goes on, the more people are going to come out and say they solved the puzzles, right? I saw there was like a dozen people that came out and said they solved the first puzzle.
Yeah,
and they all took credit, but there's no verification from Cicada that that's true.
Yeah.
So, is it a grasp at? I don't know. I even saw someone say online that it possibly is a religious or a cult.
Yeah,
like this is all kind of another kind of a recruitment tool for that kind of thing. But
and they said with the runics and the runes and all that, and the fact that it's a cicada, it's this big kind of like evil looking bug. Remind me like Silence of the Lambs when the butterfly off in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm like. These guys are sick twisted. They're probably dancing around other people's skin right now. Anyway, so the fact of the matter is, nobody really knows, but I guess what I'm leaning on is if it's some kind of recruitment tool, then these guys that are saying that they cracked it and made it to the end must be being dishonest, right? Because if you are recruited into this government or even the secret society or whatever the heck it is, you're not going to uncover anything. You're gonna go work for them. You're gonna do whatever it is they want you to do, and people will never know. So this guy coming out and grabbing all these people, it sounds a little...
Well, and then the other argument there for recruitment tools, oftentimes when we do recruitment, we recruit internally as far as within our own country, our own borders.
Yeah.
Right? We don't necessarily recruit worldwide. Now, that's I could be wrong in that, but if I want to build something a person like this that you would want to have the ability to decipher messages and these types of things, you would want for military intelligence, if I'm understanding correct, right? So it'd be against China or Russia. When you put it on the internet like that, they can interpret this the way they want to interpret it. So you run the risk of someone from China or Russia or North Korea or one of those other countries deciphering this message, getting all the way to the end, and then your trade secrets being revealed. So I don't know that this would have been the pathway that they would have gone to recruit. I mean, it's easy to point to that because that's really the way we look at like.
So does that mean it's not government then, right? I mean,
it makes me think no. Maybe it's a private. It's either a society or a private company that wants to use this in some way. I don't know. I don't know. Again, what was there was a puzzle we did a while back where we talked about how they basically it was a group that was hired by another group. Do you remember what that was? One of our other podcasts. It may be the sequential one, the one where we did the sequences on Reddit, where basically the last post that came out says that the company that hired them was going under and they no longer could support the project and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that was a private funded project that basically ceased to exist. It's possible that something like this happened again. Was it a social experiment? Like this is a very in-depth social experiment.
Well, that one was later, right?
I believe it was.
This one was 2012.
That was the one that was the Reddit one that got. Yeah, so you're right. But I mean, the point is that was funded by a private company, and they kept it pretty secret until the end of it. So I don't know what the intent behind this is, but the intent behind it looks pretty obviously to I'm trying to identify unique individuals. Because at the end of this, you're walking away with like one or two people that are like Enigma, right? They have the ability to crack like an Enigma code.
Yeah, not only code breakers, but technical too.
Yeah,
exactly. Because you're getting two different kinds of people. Because there's people who love to break codes and things like that, but they may not necessarily.
But this is highly intellectual mathematics, like that kind of stuff. Like
these are specific groups of people that have they're
right. This isn't national treasure.
Yeah, it's exactly.
This is not national treasure.
Nicolas Cage would not have been able to solve these types of things.
Not without a specialist.
This is someone's different field.
That little smart guy he's got with him, could probably do it.
He's a history nerd, but he would need other special qualifications in order to do the things that are going on in the scavenger hunt.
Correct. So they're looking not only for a specific person as far as somebody that can decipher and break these messages, but also do it in a technical world, right? Somewhere that is, and partly why you see the application uses that they use. I do think it's interesting they go back to the books, but the book to me looks more along the lines of like just ciphering.
So I'm going to give you my theory for a moment. Bear with me. Okay. First, Knox and his homies think they're lying.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there. They're pretty adamant that they got to the end and Cicada's like, oh yeah, join us and then be patient. I don't know. I think it sounds like a an ending that people would be able to swallow and be like, oh, okay, well, these guys made it, but they didn't really make it in the rainbow. I think personally, I'm just going to lean. I know you guys are going to think I'm nuts here, but I'm going to lean for a moment extraterrestrial life. I'm just saying. Like, you're talking about an advanced species probably has come here, and they needed some people that were, outside of the box.
Why does it
thinkers.
always end up at UFOs?
Because
why does it always end up at aliens?
Because here's the thing: if extraterrestrials have made it here, then they are far more advanced in technology wise.
Just a bit.
Would like
Is it a bit?
No. Okay, so
the
he's
rest of the show hasn't been a bit, but we're
Right,
just coming into the bit now.
Okay.
Well, listen, you guys bring these super nerdy puzzle things to me, and I'm just like, all right, we got this. And then I'm like, aliens, bro. Like, this is like, we could.
Okay, outside of culture, right? So unless you're here, you understand our culture, how things work. What is the one thing that we know is universal, right? Is the thing
Math.
Math.
Yep.
Math is math, no matter where you're at.
No matter where. That's right.
So
And sex.
Wait.
Well,
I don't know, bro.
I
Have
don't
you heard
know.
about cats?
I don't know. Yeah.
This discussion with Amy. Anyway,
Is that a bit?
That's
No,
another
okay.
topic. Anyway,
That's a bit. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's silly to go into the UFO thing, but I mean, or to the alien thing. But I mean, if we're going to talk seriously, no, I think it'd be plausible.
But I mean, anybody would be foolish to think that there's not other life out there, right? I'm just saying, there's a lot of planets. But anyways,
I think determining on what kind of life or what that thing. I mean, life is like, oh, look, a tree's growing on another planet.
Yeah.
Right. But
sure.
life, as far as intelligent beings, I don't know.
Yeah. They're coming for you, bro.
I mean, honestly, I want it to be real. I know that's weird, but I mean, I'm not expecting us to be friends, but I kind of like,
Yeah, it's probably not. It's gonna be like the Spanish and the Incans and Mayans.
But what if we're the intelligent ones? What if we're the ones that are going to travel to Mars and they're just up and coming barbarians? What if we're the ones that have to go there? So we look at it when we look at UFOs and aliens.
If they made it to us, they're more advanced than we are.
But nothing's come yet, as far as we know, right? Well, all we know is the theorizing of, oh, this happened here, this happened here. We've talked about this, right? Like, cameras have not gotten better since they've been taking pictures of aliens, right? I'm sorry. Why does no one have a 4K video of a spaceship crashing, right? Or flying across? It's always in like an old 2G camera that's got like
Mr.
2 megapixels, right? Everybody in the world has a cell phone. Even in like poor countries, they've got cell phones that have at least 10 megapixels. But yet, when we take a picture of a spacecraft, it's like 1982 film.
Okay, so listen, let's just get back to Cicada for a minute. I know I'm kind of joking, but I don't know. There's 10% truth to everything, right? What do you guys think this is? I mean, is it just the government hiring? Like you said, why would they do it around the world? And then 2, is it some high class society cult? Because,
Well, I don't think it's either of those. I think
what is
it? I think I lean more towards it being a small group of individuals. And part of the reason why I don't lean government or private industry like company is because I don't know that government or private company would have gone to this level of detail, gone for this long.
Yeah.
So it's what makes me think that it's a unique couple of individuals that are dedicated to what they're doing. Now, why they're doing it, I have no clue. Maybe it's just to grow their own little group. And maybe what we, one of the things we haven't talked about is maybe this isn't the only puzzle they've done. Identifying this as a cicada, maybe they're the behind the sequence one that we did.
For sure.
The Reddit sequence, right?
And what's funny? I tried to cross-reference. It's hard to find anything on Anonymous and how they recruit.
Well, I think Anonymous nowadays has gotten too popular and too whatever. That's why you're not seeing much of them anymore. But yeah, I mean,
but you go back, you can't find any traces of how they recruit.
No.
Right? So maybe this is them. I mean, right?
Maybe. Anonymous has not always been known for puzzles.
thing about anonymous though is that like it's really up to you to decide who anonymous is.
Yeah.
Because anybody can just say, "Oh, I'm anonymous,"
Where's your mask? Bro?
because
Where's it at?
you just have to be anonymous
Quit
in order to
playing
be in anonymous.
Where's the mask?
Didn't the leader of Anonymous say he was the leader of Anonymous? Like there's someone that actually came out and said he was a leader. He's no longer a part of Anonymous though. I'm like, you wouldn't do that. The whole
No.
point of behind Anonymous is not knowing who that person is.
Be anonymous.
So you, in the same way we talk about Cicada, we have to kind of look at these guys and go, maybe they did solve it. We would not know. I
We
didn't get
don't.
the email.
right.
Right? Like, but going back to it, like, to me, this doesn't feel like an anonymous thing. This
Yeah.
because anonymous has always been about justice or uncovering things. Correct? If I'm understanding correctly, everything that anonymous has done is to been unfolding things or behind their own philosophy of revealing something.
Yeah.
This is not about that. This is the opposite. This is like a secret. And at the end of the rainbow, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Anonymous always has something at the end of the rainbow.
I'm just talking about for recruiting, but I get it.
I mean, maybe.
yeah. I don't know. Whoever it is, they've gone 6 years with nothing. But again, maybe because
But the
they
puzzle
were so
hasn't
adamant.
been solved.
And that's what I'm saying is like you look at when they put that post in 2016 saying, "Hey guys, go back to the book," you know, whatever it is, they're really wanting somebody to crack and waiting for someone to crack.
So it's one of those mysteries that just kind of feels open ended because if it ever does get solved, which you assume it does, the only thing is that we know things in past time like Zodiac puzzles. There are certain ciphers that just are unable to be cracked unless they have certain information.
Took them 30 years on that one.
Well, and that's if that's true,
And
right?
that
The
was-
guy's dead, so we have no idea if that's actually accurate. They
Yeah.
just were able to. I don't know. So the reality is there.
Did somebody go out here and crack this code because we want to know? Get it, please.
Would we be talking about it if it was cracked to the same level?
Level 3 or puzzle 3?
What would it have made the show?
Well, I don't know because he'd probably be dead. Well, we don't know because we don't know what happened after. We don't know what's going to
Maybe,
happen
but
if
I'll
somebody
tell-
does crack it.
Agreed. I'm telling you, the reason certain things stay around and they stay in the minds of us, and when we're looking up these puzzle videos, they come up and 2 million people watch them. It's because of the mystery. And if the mystery in itself has been revealed, right? Like, I'm sorry, but the Zodiac was a terrible killer. But had he been caught 2 murders in, 3 murders in, we would not be talking about him the same way.
Yeah.
It's the mystery of the unknown. It's the mystery of who he could be. It's the mystery of why he did what he did. What's
but
the puzzle
again,
really mean?
We don't know what's going to happen when they finally do. Because again, somebody cracked 2.
They may never.
A year later, they came back and released 3. But we also don't know what's at the end of the rainbow because we're not going to spend our life trying to crack these things.
Well, and I go back to
'Cause we
Cody's.
ain't got time.
So
Like,
we talk about this as a treasure hunt, but how do we know it's a treasure hunt if there's never been anything revealed at the end of it?
Well, at least we know we're looking for something. That's how
Do we know? Well, not necessarily.
we're looking to an end. That's the treasure. We just know we can differentiate from a scavenger hunt. for sure.
Yeah, scavenger hunt knows the prize at the end, and we're gathering things to
Yeah.
accomplish that prize.
you know what's kind
This
of
is
funny? We're talking
open-ended.
about scavenger hunts and treasure hunts and all that, and this episode's getting ready to drop just days before a bunch of kids go searching for colorful eggs in grass. That's fun. Good times.
With cicadas in them.
Oh, maybe that's what we should do.
Where does it? Are they? Where are they from?
I have no idea. I try to.
There's none. There's none in the United States, right?
I don't know.
I wonder how large these things are because in every picture I see, they look massive.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared of bugs, but I'm sorry, but anything that's big enough is like the size of a baseball. I don't want it around me.
I read one thing that says that they're high in protein, though. So, they're edible, right?
Slimy yet satisfying.
No, maybe they're crunchy. I don't know. Dry them out a little bit. It's like a Cheeto,
Cicada flavored.
Listen, it's a new era.
I think we're out. I think that's it.
Yeah.
There's a mystery here.
I thought
and
Katie
then,
was trying. I thought Cody was trying to find something real quick.
I think we've talked about it. I mean, the reality is there's 3 puzzles. They've given another clue in
Puzzle ain't
2016. Going
cracked?
back, it ain't cracked.
Oh, are you trying to see where these bugs come from?
Oh, you might be.
I'm on Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
They produce like sound.
Well, that's what the frequency was in that video.
Yeah.
They talk about a breathing.
Yeah. Oh, pretty. There's different like I guess there's a bunch of them. There's one.
So it's a sound bug,
There's one from
like a grasshopper makes or a cricket or whatever.
There's one. The different cicadas make different noises depending on where they are. So like ones in Greece sound different than the ones Japan. And there's one from New Zealand. And
Oh,
there's
that's
one from
interesting.
Texas.
Wow.
Texas, Greece, Japan.
Oh, you can find cicadas in the Mississippi River.
Interesting. Well, he just said there's some in Texas, which is
Means they're not.
the United States. And so all those places you just interesting.
I guess
So they
there's
tie
they're-
into the coordinates too,
yeah. And they're from prehistoric times because they found fossilized cicadas.
and they make
Sick.
sounds. How cool. Well, Twisted World fam, we may never know. It may never get cracked.
That's the
Either-
beauty of it.
Yeah,
Like Andy said.
It is the
It
beauty
is.
of it,
it
right?
is. No, that's what keeps it. That's what keeps it. That shroud of just keeping people intrigued.
If this were a movie, I would hate it, right?
Yeah.
Because I like a resolution at the end of my movies,
Yeah.
right? Open-ended movies
I'm
piss
good.
me off, but as a mystery, as something that's happening in the real world, I think it's fantastic because you never know. 10 years from now, we can have a conversation about how somebody solved the third puzzle, and now there's a fourth one.
Yeah.
You just never know. We don't know how old the individuals are that put these posts out.
Right.
They're old enough to use 4chan, right? Like, so we know
Yeah.
that. And I looked it up. 4chan came out in 2003, so 2 years prior to YouTube. They may have used YouTube had that been the way to go.
Yeah.
But
There is a different internet scavenger hunt. Then this one is actually a scavenger hunt. There's a different one that we'll talk about in another episode, but that has to do with YouTube. And it's YouTube scavenger.
dude, that'll be fun.
It's a great one.
Has
Okay,
it- has
so
it
maybe
been
in
cracked?
a few weeks.
It has a resolution, and it's a bloody one.
Oh,
Yeah, very interesting. We'll talk about
I'm
it later.
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
On the next episode of
Twisted World. Hey guys, real quick though, we got some really great topics coming up. We're inviting our boy DJ back. He's gonna help us go over a very dark, ominous, scary, horror-filled, but real event. Real event.
Are we going to turn the lights off?
I think we should.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
have Cody do the Biggie Smalls thing in the mirror.
The mirror's right there.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Big. Anyways, hey guys, so stay tuned. It's going to be great. We love you as always. We are out.
Peace out.